Facebook user data scandal is prompting caution among users and demands for tougher regulations out there. Let's discuss all that, the potential impact on the mobile payments business with PayPal CTO Shivananda. He's usually based in San Jose, but joins us from Singapore this morning. Shri, thanks so much for joining us. I got to kind of start off with what we've seen in this tech sell-off. You know, PayPal also has fallen victim to this rout that we've seen, and given the headlines on Facebook and data harvesting, what could that have a wider impact on the mobile payments business?
As a company, I think we actually are pretty big on security and privacy. And we try to make sure that at all times that the customer's data is protected. We are in the payments business. I mean, this is the most valuable resource that our customers and merchants have. And we've invested for many years in making sure that the data that belongs to our customers are protected well, and that we don't share it with parties without any of their consent.
But given how sensitive consumers are now about where their information is landing in or heading to, is there a fear that perhaps that they could just boycott the technology altogether?
It is unlikely. I think we've built a reputation with our customers over a long period of time now. We've been operating for almost 19 years. And in doing so, we've always been on their side in ensuring that their data is protected, their data is secure. In fact, PayPal is all about that security all around the internet. In fact, if you look at it from a commerce perspective, instead of having our consumers fill in their credit card numbers on every single merchant site, what we do as a company is vault that for them and ensure that when they go on the merchant site, what the merchants actually receive is an opaque transaction ID that protects the financial credentials of the consumers on every single transaction that we do.
Sure. All right. I want to talk a little bit more about your Asia strategy. Of course, you have a partnership with Baidu, a separate tie-up with UnionPay as well. I mean, you basically are allowing merchants outside of China accept payments from Baidu Wallet itself. How do you view the environment right now when it comes to mobile payments, particularly in China, where WeChat and Alipay still reign?
Yeah, so we've actually been an active player in Asia for a long period of time. And our strategy actually includes various partnerships, innovation that we do internally, and also acquisitions that we make over a period of time. In terms of the partnerships itself, we have a good ecosystem forming with AliExpress and Baidu. And we are trying to make sure that we build on the foundation that we have created in China for the merchants. For more than a decade now, we have supported Chinese merchants reach global markets. And now we are trying to bring the platform that we've built to Asia in domestic markets through the partnerships that we are working with in these countries.
What's the biggest challenge, Shri, for PayPal in Asia versus the market here in the U.S., particularly for the merchants that you work with?
So we operate in more than 200 markets in 100 different currencies. And what we find is customers in every part of the world are different. And when you build a product, you need to make sure that it caters to the needs of the local markets, whether it's merchants or consumers. There are various barriers. The U.S. is probably a little ahead in terms of online commerce and the trust on online commerce. And we've seen that emerge very fast in Asia as well. I think the various things that we have to do, one is being a global platform, we need to make sure that we cater to the customers in each one of these locations, but at the same time, work with regulators around the world and make sure that the regulations that they have in place to protect their customers and make sure that the commerce is safe for them is something that we oblige to and we actually can deliver for the customers in each one of these countries.
Right. I can imagine, though, it's certainly a legal and regulatory nightmare in many ways when you're dealing with so many different countries and so many different regulations. You know, speaking about regulations, you know, a lot has been made about Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, blockchain as the new, the new technology for payments. What's your view on that?
So, you know, most of the news around cryptocurrencies has all been about the drastic increases and decreases in the value of these cryptocurrencies. In fact, currently the cryptocurrencies are so volatile that they're not a viable currencies for merchants and consumers around the world yet. That said, if you look at the underlying technologies under cryptocurrencies like blockchain, I imagine that over a period of time, we'll see some distillation of those technologies. Some of them will emerge and evolve, and some of them will even thrive. In fact, in the long term, I can see enterprises using those underlying technologies to make sure that they can digitize asset transfers, supply chain, shipping, payments, contracts, and things of that nature. So we're looking at the technologies underlying the cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies by itself will also have a future, but right now, it's too volatile for it to be relevant.
Too volatile. Talk a little bit more about your strategy in Asia, even overall for PayPal. I mean, you don't exactly have a big of a hold in the offline market, and this is certainly where we see in China, Alibaba is putting a lot of money into it. This is where tourists are most likely to spend their dollars, whether it's restaurants or stores. Is this an area that you're looking at, in terms of acquisitions or technological enhancements?
There are various innovation projects that we are working on in terms of offline commerce as well. We want to be a payment platform that supports payments no matter where they happen between consumers and merchants. Offline, of course, is a much larger part of the commerce. Even though online is growing in a big way, what happens in the stores is important to pay attention to as well. What digital payments has done is I think it has moved people past the physical boundaries that cash imposed. I think we'll continue to look at the trends there. We've started to do a few things in terms of offline commerce. And I won't rule out the fact that the partnerships that we are building will help us get more offline in terms of payment volume as well.